making your way to a comfortable seat on your mat. You can be seated cross-legged on your ankles, on a pillow, on a block, a blanket, just however you can find some comfort with the spine straight. Whenever you arrive to your comfortable seat, you can just let the eyes gently close. And we'll take a big cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose and release through the mouth. Let's allow the shoulders to drop down your back away from the ears. Feeling the shoulder blades come slightly together and down the back. Lifting the heart is proud, and letting the chin tuck slightly toward the heart, just elongating the back of the neck and lifting the crown of the head. Feeling really rooted down and secure in both of your sit bones. And just bringing your awareness to every part of your body that's making contact with the earth beneath you. Feeling grounded and supported by the earth beneath you. And then feeling light and lifted in the crown of the head. Feeling your head over your heart, over your hips. Rooted and connected to the earth beneath you, and lifted and connected to the heavens above you. Allow your jaw to release any tension, let it hang heavy. And allow the forehead and the eyebrows to soften as well. And feel all the little muscles around the eyelids that usually scrunch up when you're squinting. Feel those muscles release and relax, soften. As you start to shift your awareness to focus on your breath. Not doing anything quite yet to change the breath in any way, just stepping into that role of the observer and observing the breath, observing the body breathing itself. Noticing where your breath is at for you right now. Are the inhales shorter or longer than the exhales? Are they about the same? Did you notice that you were forgetting to breathe? Or maybe breathing a little too deeply? Just practicing focusing on the breath without controlling the breath. This in itself is a practice that if you don't practice often, it will be quite difficult. But the more often that you practice, it will become easier. Now starting to add a little bit more intention to the breath. Next time that you inhale, envision that breath traveling in through the nose, down into the torso, filling up your whole belly with air. And as you exhale, just release the belly fully of air. Just getting rid of any stagnant air at the bottom of the exhale, just fully emptying yourself. And then next inhale, send it into your lungs and your ribs, feeling the fronts, backs, and sides of the lungs fill up with air. And as you exhale, release the lungs fully. And next, inhale into your heart center and your collarbones, feeling the whole chest broaden with air. And we'll exhale to release the heart center. And now inhale straight into your forehead and feel the whole head fill up with air. And exhale as you release the head. And adding it all together, inhale into your belly and let the breath travel up through the lungs, into the hearts, the collarbones, all the way into your head. And then releasing the way that you came from the head, hearts, the lungs, and the belly. Breathing like this for a few more rounds on your own and playing around with a slight breath retention on either side of your breath. So noticing the 4 parts of your breath, your inhale, the pause and hold at the top of the inhale, and then your natural exhale and the pause, hold at the bottom of your exhale. Just noticing what it feels like in your body to be totally full of air, and then what it feels like to be totally empty of air. And taking one more round of this breath. And after your last exhale, you can gently let the breath return to its natural state. And just noticing any small shifts in the mind or in the body so far. And the practice ahead of us will be a very restorative practice, focusing on the hips and on the hamstrings. And this will be a great practice for you to do before bed, or really any time of the day just to wind down. And let the goal of this practice be for you to stay in this state of mind, to stay in this present state with yourself, where healing can truly be done. And then your next inhale, gently flutter the eyes open and just extend your left leg out to the side of your mat, keeping the sole of the right foot on the inner left thigh. And we're going to keep the torso totally straight here. And just fold forward as you exhale into your half dragonfly pose. And if you have 2 blocks or blankets or pillows, you're more than welcome to stack the blocks up. Or even if you have books, anything at all, to stack them like this and find your right height for you right now. And you're welcome to adjust the height of the blocks as we get deeper into the posture, if you can come a little bit deeper. And if you don't have blocks, you're more than welcome to just let gravity do the work and just hang out here. And the practice of YIN is all about accepting your current circumstances. So letting that be your practice here. And not trying to come any deeper into the posture, but simply accepting where you're at in your posture today. Knowing that some days we're a bit looser and some days we're a bit tighter. And not trying to be any other day, just trying to be exactly where you are right now. Noticing if any other body parts are grabbing the tension, noticing if your jaw is tightening up, your forehead, your eyebrows, maybe the neck or the shoulders or the hands. And stepping into that quiet place within your mind. Noticing anything that the mind is saying to you, noticing if the mind is being very active right now or pretty quiet. And noticing if you're feeling looser, noticing if you can come a little bit deeper, if you can fall a little bit deeper, just naturally, not pulling, just letting gravity do the work. And taking 4 more of your deepest exhales right where you are. And slowly we'll start to walk the hands back up toward the hips. And this time we'll turn our shoulders to square the left leg. And we're just going to fold forward once again over the left leg this time. And again, if you have pillows or blocks or anything, you can bring them on top of your leg here. Maybe resting the chin or the forehead. And the blocks are totally optional, so if it feels good, you're welcome to use, and if not, just skip out. So focusing a little deeper on the left hamstring here. And noticing if you're finding the need to fidget, or if you're distracting yourself, or your mind is distracting itself with other thoughts, or maybe some to-do lists popping up. And just know that this is completely normal and expected. And that is what this practice is about. The first time that I found myself in a YIN class, I absolutely hated it. I did not want to be there. I felt it was boring and kind of pointless because I was completely missing the point. I was in a stage where I thought yoga was supposed to be a workout and you're supposed to sweat. And we did about 5 poses in an hour, so I was not very happy. But when I found myself in that class again by accident, I thought a bit deeper about it, and I tried to listen to what the teacher was saying a little bit deeper instead of just hearing her words, like feeling them with my whole body. And I started to understand that this is a mental practice. And yes, it's good. It's great for the deep connective tissue. It's a great balance if you have a more active lifestyle. It's a perfect balance to do yin if you're a runner or an athlete. Or even if you just want to wind down. It's a great practice, but it is focused on the mind. It's not easy to be totally still in postures and to be totally relaxed while also stretching something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. And that is the whole point of this practice. It is to find your comfort within the discomfort. Practice sitting with your discomfort, sitting in your boiling pot of water, so they say. Because we can't move on from something or move deeper into something if we don't first fully experience it. So instead of distracting the mind, instead of the fidgeting, practice fully sitting in your left hamstring, fully sitting in your body right now, in this moment. Watching your breath, noticing if the breath has stopped, bringing it back, And to take 4 more of your deepest exhales. And slowly you can start to walk the hands back up toward the hips. And then we will extend the right leg out to the side of your mat. And then grab hold of your left shin, slowly bringing the sole of the left foot to the inner right thigh. And first we'll keep our shoulders totally square to the front of your mat. And as you exhale, fold and release forward. Again, if you have the blocks or the pillow, anything at all to rest the head on, you're welcome to do so. And just noticing right away on this side of your body, if this side feels a little bit tighter or a little bit looser than your left side. And knowing it's completely normal for one side to be a little bit different than the other side. And just noticing how your body is. The left side of our body is responsible for the feminine, the yin energy, the receiving. And the right side of the body is the more masculine, the yang, the fire, the giving energy of the body. So sometimes if we have a more active lifestyle, we can be a lot more flexible, a lot looser in the right side of our body. And if we tend to take it easy and focus more on the feminine aspects of our mind and of our body, then our left side can be a little bit looser. So just knowing where you are, finding that balance, knowing what side you should maybe give a little bit more attention to. And noticing if your knee is locking up here. Let's try to find some softness in the right leg. Nothing about this posture has to be rigid. So if you're feeling anything rigid, if you're feeling like you're pulling yourself into this posture, or if you're feeling really uncomfortable, just ease off a bit. The whole point of this is to come to about 70% of how far you think you can go. So you're not trying to go to your limit right away. You're trying to just see where you naturally fall without coming any deeper. Just release your torso, bring the palms to face up, and release. And then stay there. And then from here, you can let your breath and gravity take you deeper. And taking 4 more of your deepest exhales. And slowly starting to walk the hands back toward the hips. And then bring the shoulders to totally frame your right leg this time. Making any small adjustments in the leg that you need to be comfortable. And then when you're ready, just fold over your right leg, focusing deeper on the right hamstring here. Notice if every time that you exhale, you can find one more thing to release, whether that be a thought or an area of tension in the body. Just releasing something every time that you exhale. And sometimes if our mind is a little bit overactive, especially in these more passive postures, it can be a lot easier to focus the attention on the body. And usually, if there's a repeating thought in the mind, it'll be connected to an area of tension in the body, which it can be a lot easier to release the physical sensations rather than the mental. And if we can release the physical, sometimes the mental will just naturally go with that tension. So as you exhale, just release your jaw a little bit deeper. Notice if the tongue is pressed to the roof of the mouth, and just release the tongue. Release the forehead, your eyelids, the scalp, the neck, and the shoulders. Release the belly, noticing if the belly is tensing up. The hips, even the leg, even the hamstring, and the feet. And noticing if the fists are clenched. Finding that place of stillness within yourself. And we're here for 4 more of your deepest exhales. And then slowly start to walk the hands back up toward the hips. And then you can just hug both knees into the chest for just a moment. Just give yourself a hug. You can curl into a little ball, tucking the chin toward the chest, getting the spine really long. And then slowly you can start to uncurl and straighten out your legs straight in front of you. And we'll come into just a seated forward fold here. So you can shake out the legs. There might be some tension in the knees, maybe even tap them out. And then we'll come into our forward fold whenever you're ready. Same idea as before, just completely surrender. If you want any support under the knees, you can always bring a blanket or a pillow or blocks under the knees just for a little support. And you're still stretching the hamstrings when the knees are bent. So wherever you are, just fully surrendering the torso, seeing how heavy you can get your torso, seeing how much you can let go of. And if you do find that you are fidgeting, just being easy on yourself, just maybe getting your fidgets out, allowing yourself to fidget for a few moments. And then committing yourself to stillness. Saying to yourself, I will be still. I will watch my breath. And I will be present with myself. And positive affirmations can be very helpful during a yin practice. So finding maybe an affirmation that speaks to you, something that you really find yourself wanting to work on, or just a reminder to yourself to be kind and gentle. And if you find the mind wandering, just bringing this affirmation or mantra to the forefront of your mind. Letting that be your default mode. So finding the mind wandering and then automatically returning to your affirmation, to your mantra. If you're working on letting things go, your mantra could be, I release, or I surrender. And taking 5 more deep exhales right here. And slowly start to roll your torso back up to your seat. So we're going to come into square pose. So if you know where you're going, go there right away. So you're going to bring the left shin parallel to the top of your mat. And then you're going to bring the right ankle on top of the left knee, also parallel to the top edge of the mat. And you might be very lifted. If this feels impossible and really painful for you, then just come into this pose. So you can bring the sole of your left foot to the ground and the right knee or the right ankle on top of the left knee. And bring your hands back for support. So you're feeling this in the right hip crease. So wherever you are, whether you're in the modification or the full square pose, just breathing very deeply into the hips. And if you are super lifted, don't be discouraged to come out of this posture. It can be very painful if this isn't practiced often. And you can be very tight even if you practice this often, if it's your first time of the day. The same thing as in every posture that we have done so far. Just really finding that stillness, finding the breath. And notice how your mind wants to run away from the hips and really distract itself, kind of not even think about your hips of the discomfort. But practice sitting fully in the hips and bringing all of your awareness into the hips. And knowing that nothing will last forever. This pain or this discomfort is temporary. So just remembering that. And if you feel yourself maybe loosening up a little bit more, you can start to fold forward, maybe bring the hands in front of the shins. And if not, you're more than welcome to stay sitting upright. So see if you can find all that energy that's being used to resist this stretch, and see if you can flip that same energy to release. And seeing what else you can let go of for 5 more really deep and full exhales. And slowly bring the torso back up if you are folded. And you can start to lean back if you're not leaning back already, and bring the sole of the left foot to the ground. And just start to let both knees fall off toward your right. And you'll find yourself with the sole of the right foot on top of the left knee. And start to bring your arms around. If you have a bolster handy, you can grab that and bring that right beside your right hip. And then come to bring your arms to frame the bolster and lay here in your deer pose. And if you don't have a bolster or a pillow available, you're welcome to do this on the forearms or on the floor. Just coming into this version of a reclined twist, this gentle restorative posture, where the hips are parallel to your right and the shoulders are parallel to the floor. And if you'd like to continue this twist up the full length of your spine, including the neck, you can turn to your left cheek. And if you'd like to ease off a little bit, you can turn onto the right cheek. And super slowly you can start to come back onto the hands and start to just walk back the way that you came. Bringing the knees back up to center. Maybe take a few windshield wipers, just releasing the spine and feeling maybe a slight difference in the hips or the spine before we even ourselves out. So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and bring the right shin parallel to the front edge of the mat, just keeping that foot flexed, and then bring the left ankle on top of the right knee, also parallel to the front edge of the mat. And again, if this is super uncomfortable for you in a painful, bad way, then you can bring the sole of the right foot to the ground and just keep your feet flexed. Keep your left foot flexed. This protects the knee. So just remembering that. So the ankles and knees are stacked on top of each other. The shins are parallel, stacked on top of each other. And noticing right away if one side feels a lot different than the other side. I find that this pose has the biggest difference in the sides of the body usually. Just noticing where you're at. Maybe finding some length in the spine. Maybe trying to ease off a little bit, making the torso a little bit lighter. And if you're starting to feel good and a little bit, maybe a little bit looser after some breathing, you can start to lean forward over the shins when you're ready. Really deepening your breath here. And bringing any affirmations back to the mind. I surrender. I am secure. I am supported. I am loved. Whatever is speaking to your hearts, just repeating that to yourself. And taking your final 5 deep and full exhales here. And then slowly starting to ease off, walking the torso back up. And bring the hands back behind you for some support as you start to shift both knees toward the left side of your mat. So now the sole of the left foot is on top of the right knee. Both knees are bent. And you can snug this bolster up really close to your left hip. And then keep walking the arms around. And come to lay on your bolster on the forearms, whatever is available for you. And again, you're welcome to turn your Turn your head to lay on the right cheek if you want to continue this twist up the neck as well. And really slowly and gently, and start to come back onto the hands. And just move your bolster or pillow to the side. And just come back around the way that you came, and we'll take a few more windshield wipers with the legs. And we'll come into one final hip stretch before our final resting pose, our final Shavasana. And this will be our bound ankle pose. So you can bring the soles of the feet to touch and fold forward over the legs, over the feet. And if you want anything a little bit deeper here, if you have a block or anything at all, you can stick that between the feet. And let's see how that widens the stance. You get a little bit deeper into the hips that way. If you want to bring the palms to face upward underneath the shins, kind of locking you in place, you're welcome to do that. Maybe bringing a block or a pillow to rest the head on. And fully surrendering yourself here. Allowing your torso to grow heavier every time you exhale. And taking your final deep breaths here. When you're ready, you can slowly start to bring the hands out from under the shins, move the blocks to the side. And grab the outside edges of the knees and bring them in together. You can grab the backs of the thighs and slowly lower yourself down to lay on your back. You can let the knees hug into the chest when you arrive. And just gently rock from side to side, just massaging your low back. And when you're ready, you can reach both legs and both arms up to the ceiling. Just really release and surrender every muscle in the arms and the legs and let them rest in their sockets. Allowing the four corners of your torso to be pinned against the mat just by the weight of your own limbs. And just allowing all the postures we practice today to be solidified within your body in this posture. Allowing your feet and your hands to grow warm and tingly with this change in blood flow. Allowing your entire spine to be flat against the earth. And when you're ready, you can bend the knees and come into your happy baby, grabbing whatever's available, the ankles, the feet, the toes, the knees. And just letting the eyes be closed and channeling your inner happy baby, taking any movements that feels right and good in your own body. And whenever you feel ready, you can extend the legs long on your mats. And let the toes drop off to the sides. Roll the shoulder blades under the spine and bring the palms to face upward into your final Shavasana, your final resting pose. And you allow every ounce of your energy to surrender into the mat. Allowing the healing benefits of this practice to swim throughout your body. And thanking yourself for your practice today and for the time spent in the present moment with yourself. You may stay here as long as you'd like. Namaste.